Hey guys, Sarge here. Adding on to the video series I was talking about in the past video in regards to magazines. Today we are going to talk about pistols and looking at maybe some of the best pistols for those stuff hit the fan type scenarios. Why lean towards certain pistols as opposed to others, right? And just right off the bat, I have certain criteria that I look at for those situations. And the biggest criteria for me is low maintenance. That's number one. So I don't want to have a pistol that is going to require a lot of maintenance or tuning, anything like that. So for me, that kind of counts 1911s initially right out because they have to be ran with a good amount of lubrication to them. If going into the second part of it is parts availability, it's a whole lot easier for me to keep extra Glock parts, right, or extra P320 frames and slides and barrels than it is for a 1911. Even though some are marketed as drop-in or things like that, I have a Wilson Combat drop-in thumb safety that will not fit into my frame, so that that's not drop-in. So those are things to think about. So whenever I'm looking at the pistols, is I look at the maintenance required, the parts availability, and then just overall durability of the pistol to meet the applications intended. Okay. So the first pistol that we're going to talk about, guys, is going to be the Glock 45 with a red dot. Now, this specific Glock 45, if you guys notice, is my custom Glock 45 from Kicking Steel Custom Arms. This is their Sarge package that they're doing for me. So if any of you guys are interested in this setup right here, you can send them your Glock, tell them you want the Sarge package, and they'll hook you guys up, and it's for a phenomenal price as well. But this would be the first go-to pistol. Primary reason is I'm running it with a red dot. What I've noticed so far is shooting at longer distances and being able to go from target to target with the target transition. It's a whole lot faster for me with the dot. So this would be my primary pistol in those situations. Would be the Glock 45 MOS with a red dot on it. Now, let's say something happened to where the Glock 45 goes down, right? And I don't necessarily have the parts or anything like that. The second pistol that I would go to would be the Glock 19. And I don't care what generation you have, whether it's Gen 3, Gen 4, Gen 5, I don't care. Glock 19. This is just for me. As you can tell, even with the 45, I like the slide size of them. The frame of it, as long as you have a right holster, right belt, it'll support it. So I really don't care how big the frame is on them. I have no issue concealing the Glock 45's frame or the Glock 19 frame. But this would be my go-to. Now, whichever pistol I'm carrying, right, it's going to have this light on there. I think it's very important, especially in bad situations, to have that light on your pistol. So my number 2 pistol would be this Glock 19. All the same features as the Glock 45, all the same parts, compatibility, not necessarily generation to generation, but you can go find Gen 4, Gen 3, Gen 5 Glock parts out there and start piling up, stockpiling them right now. And then if you do have Gen 5s, they will be compatible with parts. So that's something to look at. Okay. The third pistol that I want to talk to you guys about is the P320 line. So I am a huge fan of the Sig Sauer P320 lineup. Okay. And when I say huge fan, I mean huge fan. Okay. They are phenomenal shooters. As long as you do your part, they do theirs. I've beaten these things up, shot them quite a bit, and they really don't give me too many issues. I'm a huge fan of the P320 line. An even bigger reason why I'm a huge fan of the P320 line is the ability to change out your frame, your slide, your barrel, and your recoil spring. So if you were wanting to purchase, let's say, a kit, or you're wanting to get, maybe start looking due to certain situations that we're in now, you're wanting to start preparing for certain events, or for if you need to do certain things in certain scenarios. The P320 is a pretty good way to start getting into it, because you can buy a full-size pistol, and then you can go on Sig Sauer's website or other websites, and you can buy a caliber exchange kit to a compact, subcompact, whatever you want. And they run the same way as glocks. All the bigger magazines will fit in the smaller framed guns. Okay, and that's another reason why I kind of like the glocks. Is my first primary is that 17 round frame Glock 45. When that goes down, I move to the Glock 19, because then all my 17 round mags will fit in the Glock 19. Okay, so I kind of have the system set up for that. Same way with the P320. If I have a P320 compact, which is what this specific one is, all my P320 full-size mags will fit. Well, if I have a P320 subcompact, all of the compact and full-size mags will fit inside of that P320. So that is something to think about, guys. And that is something where if you are trying to develop that plan, or you're trying to look into certain things to go ahead and have set up now, or you're beginning that process, these are good places to start. And the reason why I have both the P320 and the Glock is I know not everybody's a Glock guy. I know a bunch of people are going to hate Glocks. So I have other alternatives out here for you guys to look at. So if you don't like Glocks, let's find an alternative to it that offers you the exact same thing, because there's a lot of pistol manufacturers out there that make awesome pistols, but they have no aftermarket. And when I say aftermarket, I mean a whole lot more than sights. And I don't mean the pistols that all you can find are the $200 competition triggers. Man, that is not it. I want to be able to buy the stock trigger, not spend $200 on it, because I just want it to go sit in a box for just in case I need it. So those are the things I look at, guys. So just keep that in mind as we continue to go forward. Now, if stuff were to get bad, and maybe you were limited on ammunition, I would not want, if you watch my magazine video, you'll see what I'm getting at. Half of my magazines, let's just say, or 90 something, I'll say more than half, way more than half, are loaded with hollow points. Then I have a small amount of magazines that are loaded with full metal jacket. And that's so I'm just, if I need to go do something, whatever it is, I'm not wasting all my hollow point ammunition up, right? That's the thought process with that. Well, another thing that I like to kind of have readily available is a bunch of 22. And if you are a gun owner and you've been a gun owner since 2012 at least, or 2013, you know how much of a hot commodity 22 can become. Because there was a little bit there where I wasn't seeing it for a long time, okay? So after that, I've decided to, keep a good amount of 22. And the primary purpose for it is you can do a whole lot with 22 without having to waste your defensive rounds, right? And since this series is just about pistols, that's all we're going to talk about. But if I needed to, let's say I was in a bug out situation, or say maybe I'm just camping, whatever it is, right? Having a 22 to take out a squirrel, a rabbit, a bird, whatever it is, that alleviates me now having to think about, man, how many rounds did I just waste my defensive ammo? How much noise did it make? Anything like that, right? So having the 22 there to have a specific purpose of just for small game now kind of opens you up to being able to have more for the defensive needs, right? So that's one of the reasons why I do kind of push towards individuals getting a 22, is that they're very versatile and you can do a lot with them. My choice for a 22 pistol is and I'm going to knock a whole bunch of stuff down, but it's okay, guys, because they're built for this. My choice for a 22 pistol is the Browning 1911 22. And I will tell you guys, so I painted the front sight. This is like a traditional 1911 A1 style, so that the sights are not too good. But this pistol, I think I have definitely over 1,000 rounds of 22 through it. Probably a whole lot more than that, just because when you're shooting 22, you kind of forget how many you've shot. But it is a phenomenal little 22. It's either alloy or stainless steel. I'm not sure which one, okay? But it is a very strong design. So in the mindset of this is only my 22, and if it goes down, okay, I'll move on to something else because I do have a 22 rifle as well. But for a little 22 pistol, it's not this steel or alloy pistol is not getting beaten up. It is not taking the abuse that other 22s might take over a long period of time. This thing is going to hold up to it, and it's definitely done that so far. So for my choice for a 22 pistol would definitely be this. Maybe for you guys, get one that has upgraded sights. They sell a bunch of them, but I've shot this thing enough to where I'm pretty good with these sights. So I would definitely recommend the little Brownie 1911 22. It's one of my favorites. And for situations like this, it's about, I think they market it as 80% the size of a normal 1911. It is insanely small. So being able to just throw this in a bag and have it there as a backup is a definite plus. Okay. The last pistols that we're going to discuss are two of the kind of smaller secondary options. I would not consider these as primary options right out the gate, unless something was horrible and all these other guns broke. Glock 26 in a Galco ankle glove, and I'm gonna do another video talking about holsters for this situation, so we're not gonna get into the holster. But the cool thing with the Glock 26, like I've already discussed, it'll take my Glock 19 mags, and it'll take my Glock 45 or Glock 17 mags, and no issues, right? Something I also like about the Glock 26 is, in my opinion, I really think I shoot the Glock 26 the best out of all the other ones. But I mean, you don't feel like you're shooting a smaller gun. Where with the Sig P320 subcompact, you kind of, it's still a good size gun, but it doesn't feel like it's a true subcompact because it's still a little bit bigger. Where this one, it is a smaller gun, right? So if you really needed that deeper concealed carry, the Glock 26 is a great choice. And it gives you all the same awesome features that we've already identified with the Glock lineup. Another choice here is my Smith & Wesson J-frame. And as you can see here, I have painted the front sight again, right? But a revolver. I know a lot of people might say, well, why would I want a revolver in that kind of time? And one of the things that I will tell you about a revolver, regardless of who you are, as long as you practice with it, you train with it, you can get just as good with one of these as a semi-automatic. It's what you ultimately do with it. Now, can you probably always reload a semi-automatic a whole lot faster than a revolver? Yes. I sincerely doubt that that's changing. A lot of people who get revolvers, they always quote Jerry Michalik, or they'll show Jerry Michalik videos, but they don't train a quarter of the amount that Jerry Michalik trains. But that's who they'll go and argue, instead of using their own training to argue the use of revolvers. So when people say, well, hey, why are you using a revolver? Don't you know it's whatever? Go and look up my Smith & Wesson 642 video of me shooting this J-frame at like 50 or 60 yards, and that's why I'm okay with using this J-frame. Okay? Awesome. So the thing for me with this revolver, it requires no lubrication to it. Easy to clean. So in the sense of having it as a backup to one of these other pistols that I've already identified, and being able to easily clean it, the ability to change out grips. I have a set of rubber Packmeyer grips, which are phenomenal, but I'm more of a wood grip kind of a guy, so I put those Ultimate grips on there. But the ability to change those out and have a wide variety of grips is nice as well, okay? But that's really all you would have to change, is maybe that grip screw and maybe the grips out. You're not going to break any of those other parts unless you're really beating something up with the gun. It is an air weight, so it is a little bit lighter. So it's not like you're carrying a 28 or 30 ounce revolver on your ankle or somewhere like that. It is pretty light. So these are the pistols, guys, that in a all crap situation, I would immediately drift to, just due to the criteria that I talked to you guys about before with that maintenance, the parts availability, and then the overall durability of the firearm, and just my experience with them. Let me know what you guys think about this series. I'm gonna keep doing it, guys, just so you guys can look at other things and maybe think, man, I didn't think about, you know, a Glock or a P320 for the idea of having extra parts on standby, like I have, right? And those are all things, is look at how easy is it for you to disassemble your gun all the way down and clean it, or how easy is it for you to disassemble your gun all the way down and change it out of a part. I bet you they're not as easy as these P320s or these Glocks, okay? Especially in some cases. So those are things to look at, okay? I am going to do another video. The next video after this one will be about holsters, just so you guys can kind of see where my mindset is at with holsters, because I've seen a lot of people go out and purchase, you know, all these new pistols, and they're just buying the holsters that they see at gun stores, and a lot of those gun store clerks are leading people astray and kind of letting them get away with things that we should really kind of be stopping. So, but we'll talk about the holster video, guys. If you like the video, okay, go ahead and hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe. If you don't like the video, like it anyway, and leave a comment down below, and I'll address it, okay? As always, guys, stay tuned for more. Sarge out.